All right, welcome back to Market Day Report. This is the last time we're going to get together before we set you on your way to make sure that you've got an idea about how these markets are traded today and what they might look like opening up tonight. But between now and then, 1 o'clock Central, 2 o'clock Eastern, the Cow Guy closed. We've got a great show lined up again today. We've got some super headlines, great stories to get through. We're going to make sure that we bring the important ones to you, but lots to talk about. Again, that's the Cow Guy close. It's going to be 1 Central, 2 Eastern, and about just the top of this hour. So we're about 15 minutes and 20 seconds away from right now. All right, let's take a look and see what your money's doing right now with the corn market. Let's bring that up. And the last time we got there, March was at 474. It's one tick lower, 473 3/4. My screen is not broken. 1.5 cents lower on the day, 473 3/4. That's March corn in Chicago, and that's a 5 3/4 cent range. July is sharply unchanged at 496. We do have an up arrow, SEP up 0.5 cent. So that's a smorgasbord, a little something for everyone. Not a lot going on. Let's talk about soybeans in Chicago. Well, that's up 17 cents. So if we get to the Jan, that's 13.46 3/4. Again, that's going to be 3 1/4 cents off the high of the day. 13.50 is the high there, folks. We've got about a 20.5 cent range. So we're 3.5 cents, 3 1/4 cents off the high of a 20 cent range. We'll take that, right? And it's 13.46 slash. That's Jan soybeans. Moving right along to the wheat in Chicago. The Chicago wheat market is about a dime higher. March is up 9 3/4 cents to 5.70 3/4. And that's about a 0.5 cent off the high of the day. So that's pretty strong. We've had a decent range over there again. So about 14 cents on that range. Not bad. 9 3/4 cents higher. 5.70 3/4 is last. March wheat in Chicago. From Chicago, we go to Kansas City, the hard red. That's doing pretty well today. 19 3/4 cents higher there. 6.16 1/4 is last. Only a 0.5 cent, 2 ticks off the high of the day. We've got a 21 3/4 cent range there as well. So a decent range. That's hard red in Kansas City. That's the March. The price is 6.16 1/4. It's up 19 3/4 cents on the day. Spring wheat in Minneapolis. Well, that's up 10 1/4 cents. 7.10 evens last. 3 cents off the highs. We've had, I'm calling that an 11 cent range over there. We're 10 1/4 cents higher, but 7.10 1/4 the price. That's March, 10.5 cents higher. Spring wheat in Minneapolis. Let's go to the cotton. We'll get to our next guest analyst. Cotton's going to be up 53 points in the March, 79 to 79. Trying to put an 80 in that one. We had been there earlier. We're not too far away, but what's that going to be? That's about a 38 points from the high. All right, that's cotton. Let's move along and get to our next guest analyst. We've got 120 seconds, 2 minutes for you. Ted Seifried, Zaner Ag Hedge in Chicago. What are your thoughts about these grains?
Hey, wheat's higher. We were very oversold. We needed a bounce. That's great to see. What's not great to see is that corn's not following. It's really kind of disappointing that when you have a halfway decent update going on in wheat, that corn just can't get positive. And it's that December contract that's really weighing on us. You've got bear spreading going on. None of this is good news after making a new contract low in the March. The beans obviously have some strength, so that's good to see. You could see that starting yesterday with the beans being very reluctant to stay down or go down on the day. We're not ready to give up the weather story of Brazil in South America, that whole thing. Even though the longer term forecasts are, looking like the change in the whole weather pattern might occur in the beginning of the second week of December. And if that happens, hey, you can still probably have a pretty decent bean crop down in South America, especially with the genetics that we have nowadays and so on and so forth. So we continue to trade the weather market in beans, but this really makes you wonder if this is a bounce off of a very key support level, which is the 50-day and 200-day moving average, along with the trend line that we've been in since we started our uptrend a couple months ago. Can we follow through to the upside, or has this just sort of been the technical bounce before we turn around and go test that area again? I don't know. We'll have to see. It's a weather market. We'll have to see what the weather forecasts do in the next 24 hours, Scott.
All right, 20 seconds. Have we bounced off that level before? Is that the first time we visited it?
Yeah, so this is the first time we've done that since putting in that sort of short-term double top formation that we did pretty much throughout the whole month of November. If we test it again, that would be, if we're going to get through it, maybe next time.
That's where you put your self-stop in. That's what that sounds like. All right. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. We're going to go away. We're going to pay some bills. We're going to come back and talk more with Ted Seifried about the meat markets, right? The livestock. There's decent movement over there here today. We'll be right back after this. All right, welcome back. Let's talk about the livestock, right? Like we said we were going to go away, and we did. We're back, and I'm wearing a cow jacket. Let's talk about live cattle. That's appropriate, right? Let's go to the Feb market there. It's up $4.05. Pretty good going. 172.87 is last there. Well off the highs, though, of about almost $1, right? So, again, a decent range, too, over there. $3.50-ish, kabibble. A lot of rounding in my mind going on there, but we're up $4.07. Feb live cattle in Chicago, 172.90 is last there. Let's take a peek at the feeders. They're up $8.25 in Jan. Look at that, 221.05 is last, and folks, that's a high of the day. $7.27 higher in the March, 223.57 is last there. So we'll keep an eye on that one for you, but that's some pretty good going. And then finally, lean hogs. Lean hogs are also higher, not as much, but Feb will take it, $2.27 higher to 69.20, 32 cents off the high. Let's bring in our guest analyst. He's got 90 seconds. Ted, is that limit up 8.25 in that live or feeder cattle market?
You know what, Scott? I've kind of lost track because with
so have I.
$15 now. I don't know.
Right.
Either way, a really nice day, and you're absolutely right. Cow jacket completely appropriate today. Finally, we get some strength in the cattle. We had been very, very oversold, especially in feeder cattle. However, we had been even more oversold back in the middle of October, so there was maybe some downside room left, but we're not doing that today. So that's great to see. I'm going to say that maybe the concerns of this mystery virus in China are subsiding just a little bit. I'm going to say that we have overdone it compared to what the fundamentals are by a whole lot, actually. So today is a step in the right direction. But I'm also going to say that one day does not necessarily make a trend, Scott, and you have to be, well, I guess a little bit nervous that we're not going to put in a V bottom. Generally speaking, we don't expect markets to put in V bottoms, with the exception of kind of livestock. They're the one sort of sector that you do kind of see that sometimes. So it's a great constructive day for cattle complex, for feeders in particular, even for hogs. But whether we can follow through the upside or not, that remains to be the question. Are we going to be more concerned about the overall global economy and the health of the global citizens as a whole, demand and so on and so forth? I don't know. That's probably not completely gone away. But at least today feels a whole lot better than what it did yesterday.
It sure does, doesn't it? Boy. All right. Great stuff as usual. Really appreciate your insight. Great content, Ted Seifried, Zaner Ag Hedge, coming to us from Chicago. Ted, thanks for being on.